Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So, first of all, I apologize for any noise you may hear because I'm recording in the daytime and it's really hard to get quiet in a house with two children and washing machine and dishwasher and other things going on. So, I apologize for that and I hope it won't be too loud. Today's card is for my crafty friend Ruth. I used the Clearly Besotted stamp set 1 in a million. I really do like the florals, and you've seen. You will see one more, probably 2 weeks down the line from this one. Depends how I publish them. But I really struggled to pick what I wanted to get from. I struggled. I did not really struggle. I struggled to pick what I wanted to get from that release because I love florals and I love large florals. So this one is a bit smaller, but I've been eyeing some other brands. Let's call them mixed floral, you know, you get one stamp with loads of flowers on it. And I thought this one, although it's quite thin and harder for me to color, first of all, it's a challenge, so that makes it interesting. But I like the idea of several flowers and you can put several colors. Here I kind of kept a color scheme of red and white, but I mean, it would be fun to do rainbow flower color, or you know, maybe some yellows and some blues. I do yellow and blue quite a lot, probably, actually. But I thought it was quite cool to have lots of different flowers, and I see lots of different options, and I think it would look great watercolored as well. And I'm planning on doing some watercoloring probably, you know, in September when I come back, once I've been back from holiday and settled back into the routine and the kids at school and stuff like that. But I see a lot of, I suppose, like with every stamp set, you always have lots of possibilities. But what I like to do when I get a stamp set is to use the same stamp with different mediums, so that I feel like I get the most out of my stamps. Because I don't buy a lot of stamps, and I don't like the idea too much of using them twice and then leaving them. Here I bought 3 stamp sets, so you can imagine I want to use them as much as possible. I'm actually thinking that one, the red flower at the bottom, depending on how you color it, you could actually make it look like a poinsettia. And that could even work for Christmas if you had some gold and stuff. So maybe, you know, with the right color scheme, you could adapt a stamp that's not necessarily dedicated to Christmas to work for that as well. Just ideas popping in while I do the voiceover, really. Here I went again with that, I don't know, I say again, it depends if you've seen the other videos or not, with this very yellow versus very dark green leaves. And I still think it looks really nice, and on that cardstock particularly. So that's Strathmore toned grey cardstock, and I stamped with some some Memento Tuxedo Black as usual. It's really my go-to ink. That's the one I use the most. I do have some VersaFine somewhere, which is great for watercoloring, but I don't use it very often, and the main reason is, although I do like the fact that it stamps really black, it doesn't dry fast enough, and I'm one of these people who tends to rub her arms against the paper, and that's why I like Copics and Prismacolor so much, is that they don't really rub off, let's say. So when I do watercolor, I always make stains. There's always a stain of some sort that appears somewhere, and that's why I like what I'm going to call dry medium. That's not dry because it's ink for Copics, but that's why I do really like this. So yeah, here we go. So I've been going around, there's this flower, so I picked some really, I think it was white actually I picked, and then I did the pointy ends red, and I wanted to leave it like that, but I thought it lacked of something, so I decided to add some contrast in the center of the flower by adding the red. And at first I think I had 2 or 3 reds, and I think in the end I ended up with like 4 different shades. I did let's call it a light red. It's not orange, it's more of a light red slash almost pink-ish, a red, and then I added a brown, and then I also added a purple, and it kind of creates a bit more depth, and I thought that was quite cool. You see here, for example, it was a bit too purple, so I will add some red on the top of it again, and it comes back to the red. But it's nice because you get kind of, I suppose no flower is perfect, and you get hints of different colors picking through depending on how you look at the flower, or if you look more intensely or things like that. So here for the rose, I always struggle with roses because I find them beautiful but really hard to color, and particularly this one with tiny petals. So what I started to do, I colored the whole flower in white to kind of lift it up. What I call lift it up, which I'm not even sure it makes sense in English, but so that I create that contrast against my cardstock, and then I added the light shade of red and then a darker one, and then I go in with my brown. I'm not sure if it's a brown or a purple, I think I did a bit of both. That's kind of a more purpley red, and I'm kind of trying to add the shading in what would be the bottom of the petal, that's covered by the petal above it. So it's kind of, it's not really a red rose, it's not really a white rose, it's something that probably does not exist in nature, but it's a card, so it doesn't have to be perfectly true to real life. And here I really like adding the white pen on the little, I'm not sure what they are, the little bits around the main flower, because it will really pop against the background as well. So once I'm finished with that, I'm using my black glaze pen, because I found it's the only thing in my stash that actually works really well on Prismacolor. It slides very well, the ink flows really well, and I really get my contrast. It's a bit harder to take it in photo because of the glaze effect. When you take a photo from an angle, a certain angle, the light reflects on it, so you don't really get that contrast thing. So I can't really, like, if I did use glitter, I would struggle to capture the glitter in photo because of that. But I'm not very good at photos, so you know, there may be a way, but I'm not proficient in that. Then I wrote Ruth's name with a little pencil, and then I use my Tombow dual nib something black pen, and I mentioned it in another video. It's, I don't know, the way the nib traces on the paper is not perfect, so from far away it's okay, but I see my card up close obviously, and I like my lines to be neat, and I don't get that. So I have to go again with the other nib and just retrace the lines and stuff like that, and but it works. It just takes a bit more time than I wish it would, but it works. So here I've sped up the process a lot. I'm going around the flowers, and I could be doing some sort of going round, but instead I decided to go for some sort of light feathering motion. My card is kind of empty as it is, in the sense where I only have one stamped image on one side. So I kind of wanted to take a bit more space on my cardstock, and I'm quite happy for my shading to be a bit more spread out rather than just straight under. And I did the same thing for the word because I thought it would add something. So I did the shading there, and I'm using warm grey markers, and they are really good with that cardstock. I've not used cool grey in ages actually. Once I was done with the shading, I added a little line of Sakura white gel pen, and I think it adds something as well. And then little white dots in places around the main stamp, just to kind of add little accents here and there, which I think look really nice. And to finish, I used the black glaze pen again onto the roof to make it deeper and stronger, and I found that otherwise it's just not quite strong enough. So here we go, I finished. I glue my card front onto my card, and that's it really. So I hope you find it interesting, Ruth. I hope you like your card. Thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, head over to the blog for the photo, and click the notification bell at the top. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye.